Let's understand one of the most confusing terms in data, dimensionality. Don't worry, I'll explain this in the simplest way possible with examples that actually make sense. So, what exactly is dimensionality? In simple terms, dimensionality is the number of columns in your data sets. Each column represents a dimension. For example, category, location, date. Each of these dimensions, so each of these are dimensions. So, if your data set has three columns, it has three dimensions. For example, let's make this even simpler with the example. If your data set has three columns, that's a low dimensional data. Or if it has 20 to 30 columns, then it is a high dimensional data. So the rules is very simple. More columns, more dimensions, more complexity. Now let's talk about low dimensional data. This is when your data set has very few columns. Because of that, data points look similar, patterns are easier to identify, and analysis becomes simpler. This is why low dimensional data is easy to work with. Now comes high dimensional data. This is when your data set has a lot of columns. What happens here? Every row becomes more unique, data becomes more complex, harder to analyze and visualize. And this is where most beginners struggle. So, what's the actual problem with too many dimensions? First, it becomes harder to understand the data. Second, visualizing becomes difficult. And third, the performance can slow. Basically, your dashboard becomes confusing instead of useful. So, this leads to something called the curse of dimensionality. Sounds scary, right? But it's simple. As the number of dimensions increases, data becomes sparse, patterns becomes harder to find, model struggles to learn. So, more data doesn't always mean better results. Now, let's connect this to Power BI. If your data has too many dimensions, report becomes slow, filters become confusing, and visuals become more cluttered. And users don't enjoy using dashboards. That's why managing dimensionality is very important. So, how do we handle this? First, remove the unnecessary columns. Second, group the similar data. And third, use the aggregations. The goal is simple, keep your data clean and focused. Okay. So now let's just start with the basic table that we just have opened with the average temperatures. Okay. So here the average temperature is 68.68. This gives us the average temperature across all the data that we have in the weather table in our model. Okay. As we see in our line chart, temperature fluctuates over the time and especially within the calendar year because we have the seasons here. Okay. So in our table, we can add our monthly dates in the month and year field to see how this changes the dimensionality. Here we can add the dates to see how it changes our dimensionality. We'll just take this here. So we have like a proper data. Okay. So this rolls up a average temperature to the monthly level. But we see it currently displayed with the date hierarchy. Okay. And I prefer to explicitly add the year field, for example, to visuals. So let's change this from the hierarchy to just the date field. So now just change it here. Sorry. So we'll just keep this and now here we'll just change it to month and year. Okay. Instead of date hierarchy. We can now see the average temperature for each month. For each month, as you can see, that we started with. Each of these temperatures is an average across all the stations for all the dates within each calendar month. We can swap out the monthly field for the date field that represents the daily numbers, and we'll change it again into the date field. Okay. So we'll just swap this out. We'll just put this and we'll just comment this out, and we'll only have like the date is the average daily temperature, but it also averaged across all of the stations. Okay. So here, just so now you can see it. Okay. So that we have all the data for each of the dates. If we convert this into a table, into a matrix, okay, into a matrix, we can now expand the dimensions to see how the average temperature changes. Okay, so we'll also have this month and data, and here month and year, and then the date. Okay, and so that we can have a monthly numbers that we can expand to see here a monthly how the temperature looks within a that given particular month. We can separate our temperatures by locations in the line chart. Okay, we'll just go to the line chart and we will be able by locations in the line chart by adding the city field to the legend. Okay, we'll just add the city field to the legend. Okay, we'll just click here and into the legend we are going to add the city field. Just drag it and drop it. Okay. We now see a line for each city averaged out for each state on the x-axis. We see the difference between the lines, but they are overlapping in what we call like a spaghetti line, because it's hard to actually visualize the city itself unless we choose one from the legend, and we can also like we can just select one from the legend and understand it. Okay, see like how much the temperatures are there. Okay, so now we'll just see how we can also explore dimensionality by changing the display, okay, for the data point in the scatter plot for the low versus the high temperatures. Right now we are not aggregating any of these data points within the grid area of the scatter plot. They each represent today and also a station from the weather data table over the selected dates. So now we can aggregate them to only display the average temperatures by date and by adding the date to the values from the date table. We'll then need to change this aggregation. Okay, let's just change. We just add the date to these values, but we can see now the hour this is gone, but now we have just taken this and our chart is gone, but we don't have to worry about it. So we'll then need to change the aggregation from the for the x-axis and y-axis field to both the averages. Okay, so here we'll just make this as average and this is average as well. So, and we'll just make this as state not into hierarchy. So now we can see the average low value and average high temperatures by date in a scatter plot. Dimensionality is often the necessity too. Okay, let's measure the relationship between the electricity demand using the scatter plot. So we'll just analyze the dimensions. First, we'll select the scatter plot here. Okay, and 1 second. So here, basically, sorry, we just got it. So we already have seen this, how the dimensionality changes depending on how we require. Like the low dimensionals will have basically like the data will be less, the columns will be less, and it will be easier to understand and to like predict the data. But with high dimensional tables, it's kind of difficult. Okay. So this is how we can use and understand the dimensionality of the uh, like the tables into the Power BI. Hope you guys have understood.